The driver of a bin lorry which crashed in Glasgow, killing 6 people, said he had never suffered a blackout behind the wheel before. Harry Clarke gave the information in a medical exam after the incident. The driver's GP Dr Gerard McKaig told a fatal accident inquiry the information given by Mr Clarke was not consistent with his medical history. The court has previously heard Mr Clarke had fainted behind the wheel of a bus in 2010. Mr Clarke was also accused of not disclosing his health history to the DVLA and on-job application forms. Dorothy Bain QC, representing the family of crash victim Jacqueline Morton, questioned Dr McKaig at the inquiry. Ms. Bain highlighted Mr Clarke's medical history. She said there were reports of dizziness and fainting from Mr Clarke dating back to 1976. Ms. Bain added Mr Clarke was dizzy while driving a bus in 1994, and a cardiologist that year reported he had suffered from dizziness for 4 years. The QC described Mr Clarke as a danger on the road. Ms. Bain also showed the court a first bus health questionnaire, a BUPA questionnaire in 2010 that Mr Clarke filled out for a job with Glasgow City Council, and a DVLA form from 2011. Dr McKaig agreed with Ms. Bain that some of Mr Clarke's answers on these forms were inaccurate and he should have revealed his history of blackouts. Earlier, the court heard Mr Clarke told Mr McKaig that he had fainted in a canteen and not at the wheel of a bus in 2010. Dr McKaig said there was a clear discrepancy between what he was told by Harry Clarke and information provided by First Bus. The GP said he would have spoken again to Mr Clarke if he had known of the differing accounts of the incident. Dr McKaig said Mr Clarke told him he had suffered a 5-second loss of consciousness in the work canteen. The doctor noted the simple faint down in his records. During questioning by Solicitor General Leslie Thompson, Dr McKaig was then shown a letter from Dr Lyons at First Bus. It had been sent to a Dr McGlone at Dr McKaig's practice in April 2010. The letter describes how Mr Clarke's loss of consciousness took place on a stationary bus and asks for further advice. Dr McKaig said he went on annual leave following the consultation with Mr Clarke, with the Dr John Langan taking on the case. Dr McKaig told the court that if he had not been on leave and had seen the letter from Dr Lyons, he would identify the clear discrepancy between the accounts and would have spoken again to his patient. He added that he would have expected Dr Langan to make inquiries about the discrepancy. The GP said he would have told Mr Clarke to notify the DVLA and not drive had the driver told him he had blacked out at the wheel of the bus. He agreed with Ms. Bain that Mr Clarke had made the 2010 incident seem less serious than how others had reported what happened. First Bus Inspector John Stewart had previously told the FAI that Mr Clarke had blacked out at a bus stop in 2010. The court has also heard Mr Clarke declared on a DVLA form in 2006 that he had no history of blackouts within the previous 5 years. Dr McKaig, a GP in Glasgow for the past 22 years, was questioned during the 10th day of the fatal accident inquiry at Glasgow Sheriff Court. Mr Clarke, 58, was unconscious when the bin lorry veered out of control on December 22, 2014. Glasgow City Council has already said he would not have been employed if it had known about his medical background. The Crown Office has concluded that there will be no criminal prosecution over the crash, with senior lawyers deeming it a tragic accident. Erin McQuaid, 18, her grandparents Jack Sweeney, 68, and his 69-year-old wife Lorraine, all from Dumbarton, died in the incident in the city's Queen Street and George Square. Stephanie Tate, 29, and Jacqueline Morton, 51, both from Glasgow, and Gillian Ewing, 52, from Edinburgh, were also killed when the truck mounted the pavement before crashing into the site of the Millennium Hotel. A further 15 people were injured.